Bon dia, Munson here from ExpatsPortugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show, a very special Good Morning Portugal show this morning. Co-host just getting ready in the green room. Joanna Banana is here, everybody, and she'll be joining me this morning to talk about the happiness and the harshness of the realities of expat life, which I thought we could attack from a number of angles. There's this business of tipping in Portugal, which I think we should talk about because it came up on a social media thread the other day. I'm sure Joanna will have something to say about that. Having lived in Portugal for 26 years, she's got a foot in both camps. She's a world traveller, citizen of the world for sure. I believe has lived in Spain as well, all over Europe and probably all over the world. And 26 years of expat history, really a local now, right, in Portugal. But she'll have a wonderful perspective to bring and a joyful one, as she always does when she joins us on the Good Morning Portugal show. So it's going to be a lot of fun talking to Joanna Banana. But I just want to share with you before we get started there and other things about living in a foreign country, because it was brought to my attention. Sandinmycurls.com, a great blog. Expectation number 2 from this blog piece about living in a foreign country. Expectation number 2, challenging the expectations of moving around the world, of life in another country. Every day will be an adventure full of exploration. And there are 10 of these things that are being challenged when you go abroad. Another might be about guilt. Missing people from back home. Oh, can I handle the fear of missing out? Being separated from family and friends will get easier. The guilt will subside. And there are 10 of these expectations that sandinmycurls.com challenge. And we'll take a look at 1 or 2 of those, I think. And I'll give you the link to that. But also talk to Joanna Helms about this as well. But before we do, you've heard of TAP, of course, the domestic airline of Portugal. Ryanair, you'll be familiar with. EasyJet, I think is that wonderful one that used to fly from Exeter Airport, back in business now, that went bust and is now back, whose name is Flybe. That's the one, Flybe. Here's another one, Colin Air. Are you familiar with Colin Air, who are now, I believe, operating a connection between Portugal and the UK? Here they are in action.
Got a bottle of orange juice, and that's it. So, if you wanted to give us that in your own time, then that'd be cool.
Hello?
Hello, is that Mr. Ryan?
Yes, it is.
Yes, this is Colin Air. You booked with us to fly to Portugal in July last year.
Yeah, that's right. I'm still waiting for that refund.
Well, I've got good news for you, sir.
Oh, finally.
Yes? Very good news. You'll know that Portugal will be added to the green list from Monday next week.
Yeah, I'd heard that.
Right, so, great news. We are retrospectively running your flight to Portugal, so I hope you enjoy your flight, and thank you for flying with Colin Air.
Wait, hang on. The flights were cancelled.
Yes. And now they're not, sir.
So when have they been rescheduled for?
They haven't, sir. We are retrospectively running the flights in July last year.
How does that work?
Well, have you seen the Christopher Nolan film Tenet?
What? No.
Well, it was fierce confusing and there was a criminal underuse of Sir Michael Caine, but that film would explain your situation quite well.
So, hang on, the flights are running?
In theory. They've already gone. Everything has already happened.
So, how do I get on the plane?
One moment, sir. Aoife! Aoife! What do we do if the customer can't do the old time travel? Right. Right. Hello, sir?
Hello?
There is a €150 surcharge if you're not able to board the flight in the past.
Is this a complicated way of telling me I'm not getting a refund?
I'll come to that, sir. Now, would you have wanted to take cabin baggage on this flight?
Well, yeah,
And do you think you might have needed the toilet in July last year?
Probably.
Solids or liquids?
What?
Okay, so that's an extra €270.
What? It was €20 for cabin baggage when I booked.
Yes, sir. But now, don't blame us. Blame the government. But strict COVID regulations mean we have to tie each piece of luggage 2 meters apart on a very long and expensive rope and then trail them off the wings.
Doesn't the engine output burn through the rope?
We can arrange for that not to happen for €54, sir.
How do you do that?
We just don't turn on the engine, sir.
So the flight doesn't take off?
It both does and doesn't, sir. Either way, that's a total of €375 And your refund, which has been processed but not returned to you, will now be returned to us. So that's a total to pay today of €690 all in, sir. How would you like to pay today? Oh, and would you be wanting a scratch card with that?
Oh, there you go. Sorry, I thought that was going to be there forever and I wasn't going to be able to come back onto my own show there. The wonderful Larry and Paul, everybody, with a new offering in the airline business. Colin Air there. Nothing to do with Colin Ross Jones, I assure you. Joanna Banana, did you enjoy that?
I actually laughed out loud.
They're great, those two.
Well, I've been going through the same situation. It's quite funny actually because I bought some tickets to go to England just before it all got locked down, and I've been, change the flight, refund the flight, change the refund to another human being. I'm in the middle of all that. That was very,
great. Larry and Paul
base,
there.
yeah.
I put the connection to their coffee.com page if you want to buy them a drink. A couple of brilliant comics over there in the UK. Good morning to you, Joanne Helms, aka Joanna Banana, my co-host this morning, to talk about the happiness and harshness of expat life. How are you today?
I'm doing really well today. It's a lovely sunny day. My flyers have just been printed. So after being with you, I'm going to go and get my fairy flyers, the flyers about my fairy village, and go stick them all over the place. That's my day today. Promotion.
How lovely. Well, we do a little bit of promotion on your fairy garden this morning as well. What is that in Portuguese? Will you remind me? The fadas.
Well, my garden is called Fadas de Framilo because my village is called Framilo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. And we've got a little video to run in just a moment after we've said good morning to everybody. And I hope you join me for that. You may know some of these people. Adrian Caffrey, bon dia, alegria todos from Adrian.
Good morning, Adrian.
Thomas Malloy, bon dia to you, Thomas, who says it's due to be the hottest day of the year so far in Portugal today, which is good news, isn't it? From Wiesbaden in Germany. I mean, I said you're a bit of a world traveller. Shout out if you've been to these countries. Wiesbaden, Almania. Okay, yes, in Portuguese there. Very good morning to you. Hope you're healing well. Steve Wells, I believe in the UK, bon dia. That might be a typo. Or he may have wished to say don dia. Bon dia from Joel up in Matosinhos today with barely breaking a smile, but we'll see what we can do to him today. He's a perfect candidate for the laughter yoga that you do. I'd love to see him do laughter yoga. Bon dia from Mark in Australia. Ever been to Australia?
Not yet. I got a lot of family there.
Okay.
But it's definitely my first boyfriend was from New Zealand, and he was supposed to get me to Australia. I was supposed to get married and live in Australia. I'm supposed to be Australian, but that one never wrote back.
Oh, I see. Okay, and because when we last spoke, you were talking about your love life, and I don't mean to pry, but it may be that we can further look into the Expats Portugal dating service if that's still appropriate.
I just covered my second anniversary since I'm single, and I'm like, what? 2 years without nothing happening. I was like, that is unforgivable. This cannot go on. But COVID played a big part in it.
Of course. So you see what I was doing there, sort of gently trying to discover what the situation was. So today could be a useful appearance on the Good Morning.
Yeah. Wait.
Pete Wilton Davies, just a quick hello. Very nice, Joanna. Very nice. The social club. They were having an intercultural event of foreigners and locals coming to discover the village. Perfect timing. The upside and the downside of expat life. Do please already chip into the comments. The happy times and the harsh times, and the reality really of being an expat is what we're talking about today. From Marcos Valbon, belo dia, Solerengo. What does that mean, Marcos? Do say more. Yeah, and Mark saying to Joel, is that nearly a smile there, Joel? Bon dia from, yes, Jacqueline, CDM on Silver Coast. Good morning to you. I think you enjoyed Mrs. M's show yesterday with the wonderful Tanya. They were talking yesterday about spiritual matters. Bon dia from Anna Dia. Hello, Louise. Good morning to you. Solo 50 plus expat Portugal. Deborah Davies also here. Good morning to you. Bon dia alegria from Antonio F. That's what we say here now. I don't think we did that before, Joanna, but that's our greeting on the Good Morning Portugal show. Bon dia alegria, which I think you'd approve of, right?
Definitely, that's like one of my mottos. Bon dia com, I say bon dia com alegria.
Con alegria, okay. And hello from Nepal. Namaste to you, Madan. Great to have company from Nepal always. And Marcos and Antonio, the Portuguese, chatting with each other this morning. Mick O'Leary, the Legit, says Adrian Caffrey. Tap, going back to our clip that we played there from the wonderful Larry and Paul. Morning, Tap. Take another plane is what Sean thinks that stands for. Good morning to you, Sean. Is there a chance to board the Portuguese Parliament in that flight? Says Joel. He's so not over the politics here. Maybe one day. Hilarious. I just watched Tenet yesterday, funnily enough. Mind-blowing special effects. Christopher Nolan is an amazing filmmaker, isn't he? And concepts of different dimensions of time. Ooh, Doreen. Bon dia alegria. I hope you had a beautiful day. It was Penny's birthday yesterday. Thanks so much for all my lovely birthday wishes, she says. It was a lovely day and the sun shone. That's so good to hear. It sounds like you did have a beautiful day. Bon dia from the sunny Povo de Vargem. Have you been up on Portugal's green coast, Joanna? Do you know that part of Portugal?
Up the north? Yeah, I think the coast, I know the whole coast. Yeah. You know, there's a place, and it's not far from here. I'm trying to remember the name. It's kind of like a little peninsula that hangs off the country. And they've got some kind of microclimate there that it never goes beyond, I don't know, 23 or something in the summer. It's only like an hour from here. If you want to get out of the extreme heat and just enjoy the beach all day, if you just look at the map, you'll see a little piece hanging off. It's got the river on one side that then goes into the sea, and the sea on the other side. It's above Mira. It's God, I can't remember the name right now. But I discovered that last summer, and that was like, oh, here's a place to go where you could just really enjoy the sun and not have to run from it.
Yes, that's interesting. But above Mira, which is a lovely little seaside town, but below Aveiro, by the sound of it, south of Aveiro. Okay, somebody will answer that question. I think either Antonio or Joel or Marcos will know that. Bon dia from Sweden this morning as well, from Anna Olsen. Good morning to you, Anna. Lovely to have your company. Bon dia todos from Michelle Castro Vieira. L. Blackman Reynolds here on YouTube. Hola, bon dia todos. And oh my gosh, you all have sun. Yes, Donna, we do. They have pouring rain there in Terceira, not Madeira, Carl, as you always say a lot. I'm so sorry. So it's the Azores, right? Where are we going there? Or is it? No, have I made an even bigger gaffe now? Morning, Carl. I was once asked to make a fairy garden for little girls, says Debbie Doos. We have the expert with us this morning who lost her grandfather. It also had fairy lights too. She loved it. How beautiful, Debs. How are you this morning? Yeah, that's lovely. Solarengo sunny. Very good. Okay, thank you, Antonio F. That's great. Hank in California. Voila. EU announcing tourist welcome next week. Buying plane tickets next week, I hope. So we have movement there. It looks like our North American friend will be coming to Europe very soon. Excellent. Robert Vinkel, bon dia from Provence in France. You know France, don't you, Joanna?
Oh, yes, and I know Provence very well. I loved it there. It was wonderful.
Yes, indeed. Always puts a smile on people's face, does Provence. I think... Central Portugal, Tuscany, Provence, similar vibes, but Portugal's not as well known, obviously, as Provence and Tuscany for that kind of retreat into the interior. Belo dia Solarengo in English is beautiful sunny day. Thank you, Marcos Falbon. Excellent. Circus School Paul. Bon dia, you lovely people. It's a cloudy day here in Northampton, UK. This morning I will be mainly eating bacon sandwiches all day, by the sound of it, Paul, and watching the show. Excellent. Maybe a bottle of Sagres with that as well. Hola, bon dia, alegria. You know what these circus folk are like. You're a bit of a circus person, aren't you, Joanna? You've been clowning.
Definitely worked in the I've been working the circus since I was 4 years old. Most of my life I've been in the circus. Yeah.
Well, tell us more about that. Did you run away to the circus when you were just 4?
Well, I think my whole family belonged in the circus. We had sort of an alternative school called Zoom School, and it was composed of basically parents and some teachers that the parents hired, and the parents basically said, kids rule, So whatever they want to do. So of course, kids love circus. So we created a circus. It was in the south coast of Spain, and it was called Los Ocho Tontitos, which is the eight sillies. And we used to perform, and the town hall would give us school materials like notepads and pencils and stuff in exchange for our performances. We had a brilliant time. And then when I grew up and started doing volunteer work in countries with war and stuff like that with children, I found that the best thing I had to offer is a little giggle, because a little giggle can get you a long way. And so I started just clowning around. Then I came back to Costa del Sol. That was in about 93, also in 1993 or something like that. There was a big problem with getting work. There was an economic crisis happening at that time. So I thought, right, I'll just clown. And I used to actually be on Expat television show on the Costa del Sol. I do little clown shows, little puppet shows for the children there. And then I got into birthday parties before I came to Portugal. I arrived in Portugal in 1995, thanks to a Portuguese guy that brought me here. And then I seriously got into circus, like big time. Yeah.
Amazing. And of course, then more recently, you brought laughter yoga to Portugal as well, right?
Well, that was, let's say recently. That was 16 years ago. Quite a long time I've been laughing. Yes. I think we should definitely do a little bit of laughter today, because it's when you said, oh, let's make this program about the good things and the bad things of living in Portugal, the challenges. Well, you definitely can use laughter yoga for challenges. So we should definitely learn a few exercises for the rough moments, frustrating or scary moments that you might be going through in this Portuguese experience. But I got really sick. And I couldn't move any joint in my body. I turned to stone. And I found Dr. Kataria's book. He's a doctor, and he invented laughter yoga. And he said, you don't really need to laugh. The sound of laughter is enough to heal you. I'm like, well, I can do that. So I tell you, I was not feeling like laughing at that time. I just separated from my Portuguese husband. It was a very nasty separation. And I was living in a shed in the forest without electricity or water. I couldn't move my body, couldn't get any food. I was starving to death, basically. So it can happen to you. Maybe not today, but that was about 16 years ago. You could still go hungry in this country. And I had a 4-year-old child. Things were looking very bleak. Yeah. So I was okay. I need a miracle. I need an intervention. And I found this book about healing through laughter. And all you need to do is just, breathe in and go, ha, 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 ha. Apparently that's enough.
There we go.
First of all, I thought, how on earth am I I'm going to heal this serious problem that the doctors can't heal by just going, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and seriously, folks, if you're watching and you're thinking, what on earth has happened on the Good Morning Portugal show this morning, there's only one thing to do, and that's to try that. Seriously. And I love the idea of people doing that at home and their partners or whatever, other people in the house, rushing in to say, what's going on? What are you doing? Doing a bit of laughter yoga with Joanne here, Joanna Banana on the Good Morning Portugal show. So we'll come back to that a bit later. Debbie is a big fan. Deb's a big fan. You're such a talented lady with so much to give. We're going to be talking about what you're offering to people, which is so many things. Ian Turner, bon dia, all you wonderful people, grey and overcast here in Hertfordshire today, but not raining at least, heading to North Norfolk. North Norfolk, that's Alan Partridge country, isn't it? Heading to North Norfolk, North Norfolk, coast later today, which will have to substitute for Portugal. Close second there, obviously. Tosha, Vieira, Porto de Moj, Meco, Troia, Composta, Porto Covo, etc. Small Portuguese paradise here in Portugal. So is one of those the seaside place you were talking about?
No, you haven't said the same name yet. It was, I will come up with a name pretty soon.
Don't worry.
I'll start looking for it on a map. Yeah.
Bon dia alegria as well from Milda this morning. And I have a laugh every morning watching Good Morning Portugal. That's great. We're going to take it to another level, I think, today, Stephen. I want you to be trying the laughter yoga, and you, Paul, as well. So let's set the scene of Casa Banana here, if I can call it that. Second video clip of the day. Here's what goes on, and there's an exciting offer. We'll talk about you've called it an expat airport. You're like a landing strip for people new to Portugal, and you're offering this service to people.
Yeah.
All right.
First base.
First base. So here's the context and the setting of this, folks. Now, that's so beautiful, Joanne. I wouldn't have myself down as a fairy fan, but I feel much better for watching that.
Well, that's what I got up to during COVID. I mean, that's an old video now. There's way more houses and houses with several rooms and stuff like that. But, you know, COVID hit me like a ton of bricks. Basically, my work just stopped. And I didn't have any form of income. So I just decided I'm going to create a fairy village and invite people to come and have a cup of tea and play in the fairy village. I made the roofs of the house. It's just a piece of cork that you can take off and then put all the furniture and the food and the plates and stuff like that. And some families have come by and had a wonderful time here, you know, just one family at a time. They come to invent stories, or they come to do any one of the workshops, you know, miniature pottery or miniature carpentry or miniature anything, or they just come to dress up as a fairy and jump on the trampoline or make cupcakes, anything which is cheerful, fluffy, kind, comforting, anything that makes you feel warm and loved and magical and fantasy. That's me. Anything that feels good, come over here. And I've re-denominated myself as a fairy godmother. I now officially am a fairy godmother. And I have the dresses to prove it. Yesterday, another 2 dresses arrived. I started buying, you know, really massive, fluffy wedding dresses for people to just get in and jump on the trampoline and be totally ridiculous and have loads of fun. And now people know me for that. So they just give me their addresses. I got one room full of them. Oh, we have so much fun.
Yes, well, I'm wondering if I can make you the official fairy godmother of.
Oh, thank you.
No,
I'll send you a
seriously,
little photo.
that is so lovely, and you make a really good point, because it was Vinya Brincar, was it? Come and play, and
Yes.
do you think adults, we become adulterated, don't we? It's an interesting word, adulteration, and we all become adults. And do you think we don't play enough as adults, generally speaking?
Well, I have groups of adults that come, and they're just adults, men, women, and then I have sometimes families that come. I would say the adults even have more fun, because the kids is kind of like, yeah, it's fun, but it's inside their world. But the adults that come, I have Anna Maria, she comes over with a harp, and we do lots of yoga and dancing and music therapy and mandalas. And we just go into, we wake up our inner child. We go into a world of fantasy and joy and creative expression, like art expression. And I can see the great transformation. Like I can see when they arrive and how they leave, and what a brilliant time they had while they were here. I think I enjoy that more. I've worked with children my whole life, but I enjoy bringing the child out in you. And it's fascinating to see that transformation, to see people come alive, and to see people realize their palette of possibilities, realize that, whenever life shuts the door, or whenever you have to embrace a whole new life, like coming out to Portugal, where you might be leaving your social network, your job, everything that gave you meaning and everything that gave that identified you, then you come here and start from scratch. Come and spend a weekend with me, and I'll just blow the lid off your horizons. You can just see that, there's so much that you can be. Basically, that's why I'm about, like, what is your full potential? What can you become? You don't have to be good at drawing to suddenly realize you love drawing. And then through that, you actually do express something that nobody else has ever expressed, and become known for that, So, yeah.
That's beautiful. So, yeah, far from being frivolous, this is a gateway, isn't it, to our true selves, possibly?
Yes, there is a lot that we bottle, because in the name of conformity, in the name of, financial stability, in the name of doing as we're told, there is, I would say, probably, in most people, 80% is never realized, is never expressed. We never get to live. Yes, when you think about it, most, if you think about Dalai Lama says, change profession every 5 years. Just do something completely different every 5 years. Now, how many people do that? How many people just completely change their lives every 5 years? Most people have a job and they stick to it, and they try and make the best of it. And, if you're lucky, you've actually chosen something that you adore, that you love, that is your passion. But Carl, the honest to God truth, most people, they do the same job because, they fear financial insecurity. And so when you want to shift from one profession to another, there is that kind of turbulent time. Yes. And that will keep people stuck for their whole lives. Now, this COVID actually threw everybody in the deep end. And a lot of people have just needed to reinvent themselves, which is challenging and tough and maybe scary and painful, but also a blessing with a silver lining. It has been for me. I mean, I've just kind of like, I've written songs, I've created a play, I'm writing a book. So yeah, I was a laughter yoga teacher. COVID came, and now I'm just kind of like, like a gremlin that's been fed after midnight or something, and just like pop, 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 and I'm this, and I'm that, and that, and now I'm kind of like, And I was talking to Sally, who works for you guys yesterday, and like, how can we present what is happening here in the fairy garden? And it just, every 5 minutes I said, and she got totally confused after a while.
Well, you're terrific. And I love that. You're like a gremlin that's been fed after midnight. That's fantastic.
Yes.
By the way, in case you were wondering what happened to Chitra Stern this morning, we had a late change, plot twist, and Chitra will be with us here tomorrow, talking about her incredible entrepreneurial journey in business, in education. She's a major force in business in Lisbon and in the Algarve, and I think she's making an impact in Portugal generally. So we'll have Chitra here tomorrow, as well as the wonderful Jenny B, talking about how to get more love into life. So, which is what we're talking about really with Joanna Banana here this morning. More love, more joy into life. It's a really great antidote, I think, to some of the things that have been going on in the world. Bear with us as we bring that together as well with the expat journey. You know, the ups and the downs. I'm the Portuguese Pollyanna. That's what people call me. So I tend to focus on the upside. But there are other parts that are sometimes difficult, and we can air those this morning. Joanna's a perfect fairy godmother to do that with, and she might even treat us to a bit of laughter therapy to go with it. But of course, you're right. In COVID, I mean, it looked like a very dangerous thing to do, to be in close proximity, laughing all over people, right?
Yeah.
So, you have to reinvent yourself.
I did do quite a bit on Zoom. I'm still getting contacted sometimes from a family from England that say, SOS, you know, we just really need to laugh. And, you know, I'm jumping up around in my living room doing a laughter yoga session with a family that's about miles away. Yes, Carl, should we could
I just do a few more comments to bring us up to date, and then let's do some practical. So get ready, everybody. Loosen anything tight, including your mind. And because we're about to laugh more than we normally do, possibly here on the morning show. Having lived as an expat in another EU country before Portugal, I learned that integrating as much as I possibly can on a regular basis with my local community and listening to local TV and radio was a great advantage. It's easy to be hard on oneself. I try learning everything without expectations. Nice one, Jacqueline CDM there, my neighbour, my new neighbour.
Nice, Jacqueline.
Bon dia de Maastricht, Portugal weather this morning. And thank you, Mike, for that. Portugal weather, nice, weak wind, maximum temperature 28 degrees, minimum 16 degrees, sunny. This is in Lisbon today. Not too bad, not too shabby at all. Or simply beautiful, that fairy garden. Deb's loving the video that we played there and what you've created. And we'll come back to the expat airport idea. Bon dia, all from a linda field in the middle of nowhere, from Fundao there, from Pete. Good morning to you, Pete. Bon dia from London, from Rui Dias this morning. The fairy dresses, would they be tie-dyed wedding dresses? Sounds like a lovely idea.
Definitely, we could do that with some of them. I got plenty of them.
Take anyone to an adventure playground, unfortunately, the massive chair that we have at the farm, and watch them turn into a 10-year-old. Yeah, Pete's got an amazing, huge chair which you can watch the stalks from. And yeah, I can imagine how that turns grown people into little kids again, Pete. Bon dia, Carl. My last day in Jersey, Portugal. Here I come. Super excited for my new life, says Lisa. Nice one, Jersey Bean. Looking forward to welcoming you over here. Well, we've been helping keep your Portuguese pilot lightly, haven't we, in the last few weeks? Excellent that it's got to this stage. Oh, this is good news, says Louise. I've done so many things, always changing, so it's not so bad. Certainly not, Louise. A validation from the fairy this morning. Yeah, I think I've changed careers, businesses about 10 times over nearly 50 years since 16. I guess that averages every 5 years. Not surprised, Penny. An incredibly creative and wonderful person with a positive outlook on life, as well as a serious one as well. You know, a great compassion and care for others. Bon dia from a wonderfully sunny Lisboa this morning. Okay, so get ready. Loosen tight things, as I said. Don't just watch us, anybody. Yes. Joanna is sat on a ball. Are you still sat on the ball, Joanna?
I am. Apparently chairs are bad for you, so I always sit on a Pilates ball, and that helps your spine, and you can bounce as you're doing your emails. You know, keep fit, keep active, stay young. Oxygenate.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it feels really comfortable. Sitting on the ball is really comfortable. So let's do a little bit of laughter yoga, and remember, put no emphasis on whether you're going ha 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 or whether you're going ha 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 ha. I've been doing this for 16 years, so no matter how rough my day is going, no matter how many fines or whatever happens, I have a laughter button. I just press it and I just go And it gets me through everything in life. I kind of live in this little oasis where I get to choose my emotion. Sometimes I like to be angry, sometimes I like to be sad, but I don't get stuck there because I've got my key. Okay, so talking about keys, everybody get your car key, right? Put it in your laughter engine and just turn it over. Just make a little cough like this. That's right. Now we're gonna make it turn twice. Okay, so okay, now we're gonna let it roll. Okay. Can you do that? So apparently, if you do that,
Jackals are definitely moving.
you can provoke your love. You can get your body laughing because coughing is also a form of catharsis. So that's one helpful trick that you can use whenever you like. Another one is if you start doing a little bit of hyperventilation, not too much. Don't pass out. We're just going to start going ha 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 ha, and then you let it roll. Okay, so you start going fast and fast, and then you let it go ha 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 ha, and then you just rest your head down like that. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Joanna, should my legs be tingling?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Oh no, the coughing has started. Okay.
You're doing both the exercises simultaneously.
It's seriously something going on with my legs here as well. The kundalini is going in my lower limbs. Ooh.
Well, there's two things that are happening right now, Carl, when you do the laughter yoga. One of them is you're getting a real big flush of oxygen through your whole body. Yeah. Basically, all diseases in your body comes from the acidification of your body. Your body's getting acid. How did your body get acid? Not enough oxygen. Not enough oxygen. You oxidize. You get rusty. So you can be washing the dishes. You can be washing your dishes. You can be vacuuming the floor. You can be doing anything. All you need to do is breathe in and you need to stretch the muscles up. Muscles need to go up to activate the glands that are going to let go of the endorphins. So you need to put these muscles up. Muscles up.
I'm not sure if I should be activating my glands right now like this in front of everybody, but let's see what happens. Mrs. Gilchrist, we need to tell Mrs. Gilchrist that everything is all right in the home office there.
Yeah, we're just doing a little bit of very healthy laughter yoga. I mean, if I was the first person to do this and this was the first day that it was ever done, I could expect people saying she's nuts. But this has been around for 26 years now or more. Yeah. And 26 years exactly. 26 years. And the whole planet's doing laughter yoga now. So if you haven't heard of it or you've never done it, I really recommend it. It really gives you your freedom back over your emotional state. It means that you can have better relations with your partner, with your family, with your friends. And it's just like, it gets rid of your toxins. It is actually an abdominal exercise. So you lose weight, burn calories, get along with your mate. And this is just, it's as easy as a piece of pie. You just breathe in, wind up your muscles.
Wind it up.
They go. Wind them up. And then it doesn't matter if you want to kill somebody. You just go, ha, 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 ha.
You should get rid of it.
And that works. The endorphins come down, your mood changes,
it does,
and you let go of whatever chip is on your shoulder will just really fall off like dandruff. Get rid of your chips. Get rid of all your chips.
Get rid of your dandruff. The dandruff cure as well. That's fantastic. You have changed my state. I don't know if anybody else wants to report back. You definitely, and I could feel tingling in my legs. And incredible. And we're having a bit of feedback in a good way. I love watching you turn over your laughter engine, Carl. Thank you very much. Any Jacqueline CDM is, and it's given me a bit, not of bit of indigestion or something, but that's all to the good. It's all coming out. Jacqueline CDM, lots of laughing there.
It's very
Sorry,
good for your digestive system, actually. That's why laughter yoga is very good to do after eating, not while your mouth is full, but after eating is one of the best times to do some laughter yoga.
Good.
Yeah.
Gary, any chance you can give me a live outside broadcast test from the woods of Alvazra? Of course. The link is in the comments if you want to join us and do a bit of. If Gary joins us, we'll do a bit more, shall we?
Yeah,
Lisa's laughing as well. Laughing Lisa. We'll have to listen in on this one, not in work. Oh, come on, give him a treat at work, Phil. Planning on an early retirement move to Portugal in a couple of years. So hungry for good info. You come to the right place. I trust you agree there, Phil. Joanne is spot on with breathing exercises. I took a meditation course that focused on breathing and yoga. Excellent. And Jacqueline CDM, have you a link or YouTube channel, Joanne, please? I love a good old belly laugh. I have tears rolling down my face now. Excellent. So what is the best way to get in touch with you, Joanna Banana?
Well, I have a webpage which is called the Laughter School. Unfortunately, the name is in Portuguese, so it's escoladorizo.com.
Okay.
And from there, you can find some parts of the webpage have been translated to English. Some of them you'll have to put through Google Translate, but you can find me on Facebook. I've created a little group called the Funny Fairies, and we do a lot of laughter yoga. I'm constantly doing lives on there, and yeah, I love and care a lot for my little laughter community. And yeah, you can just call me anytime, WhatsApp, and say, "Can I laugh?" You know, I'll laugh with you for free for a few minutes if you like. You just call me up and say, "I need a giggle," and we'll just laugh. We'll do a little bit of laughter yoga. Okay, I'm here for you guys. Very excited about the people that have joined us today that are on their way here or will be here in a couple of years. We're here to embrace you. And who is this young man?
Well, have I spelled that right? Escola Dorizo on the screen there.
You have. Well done. Yeah.
All right, so we'll leave that there. This young man is Gary Austin, who's live from the woods now to join us for a bit of laughter yoga. Now, if there are any passers-by in the woods of Alvazra and there's a man laughing to himself, and let's see what happens. So can we just do one more quick exercise? Morning, Gary.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well, as you can see.
So I'm here in the wilds. I finally got all this technology to work. So this is amazing for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're really cool. We look forward to it in the future. So yeah, are you up for doing a bit of laughter yoga, Gary?
Well, they might think I'm slightly insane out here on my own, but I'm up for anything always.
Indeed. Okay, over to you, Joanna.
Okay, well, laughter yoga is a form of catharsis. So laughter is a form of catharsis. So you can use a different form of catharsis as a door. So now we're going to use a form of catharsis, which is shaking. You know, when you get a shock, you shake, right? But we're going to use all the vowels, okay? So we're just going to go like this, right?
Oh,
I'm going to start with ha. We're going to go ha, 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 ha. He's laughing. He's laughing. Now we're going to go hair, okay? So we're going to do the hair. Hair. We start
Hair.
spinning up. Hair.
Hair.
Up with your arms. We got two left. Okay. He.
I think I got some lift there.
Last one.
Oh dear.
Last one. Oh, I just did it. Ho, ho,
Hey. And all this without alcohol.
What could possibly go wrong in the woods of Alvazra this morning?
Okay, officer.
Put a mask on. Oh dear. Oh dear. What a sport. What a sport.
Oh, I think you did really well there, guys. That's
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
There's a hotel near you called Hotel Quinta do Condestável, and I will be there next week or the week after doing laughter yoga there. Maybe you can come
In
up.
Alvazra. Oh,
Very
tomorrow.
close to very close to Alvazra. It's somewhere between Alvazra and Seta, around there.
Yes.
So they love my laughter yoga. So I always go up to the hotel whenever they got a group, and we do some laughter yoga there. You can come and be in a full blown session. I'm sure they won't mind. I'll just say that you're one of my students, and you can just come and join us.
He's quite famous in that area. We've renamed it from Alvazra to Alvagra, which has given it a certain lift anyway.
Whoa, Alvagra! I like that.
Yes. So that was more excitement than we were planning on. But anyway, Gary, how are the woods of Alvagra this morning?
Well, if I stand back, you can see that they're in rather nice,
Good.
resplendent sort of semi-leaf now. Everything's sort of happening. Birds are singing. Things are jumping on each other, looking a bit fruity. That sort of thing. Yeah, pretty good.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So the test is successful, and you'll be joining us from time to time, I hope.
Well, I was looking for a place for Jenny to do an outside broadcast, which is some feat really, because trying to get the right signal, and this is actually jumping off my pad as a hotspot, but the signal here is pretty good, as you can tell.
Perfect. Absolutely
breaking up.
Perfect, mate. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much. I will leave you to your devices and enjoy your day.
You're the best. Cheers, mate.
Okay, cheers, thanks.
Oh, fantastic! What a great test of the technology. We can do it. We can do this anywhere, which is fantastic. Red nose on, top hat on, dancing shoes on, and laugh at myself while I do the vacuuming, just to get the vacuuming done. That should be a kit that comes with every Dyson, shouldn't it? Really, that whole lot of kit there. Who else is saying hello? Fantastic exercises. I don't remember when I laughed so loud. That's fantastic, Milda. Good therapy all over the world this morning from Good Morning Portugal and expatsportugal.com. Sitting here smiling. Okay, Ian, come on. In a cafe, so laughing would be a bit strange, and quietly happy, laughing on the inside, perhaps. Mike, after leaving Her Majesty's Forces, I had a few jobs contracts, decided to change career completely in 2016 after Brexit impacts. Independent, Brexit impacting the pound there. Independent now, learned a lot about myself through the process too. I bet you did, Mike. Good on you. Yeah. Love a good bit of shaking. Who doesn't, Stephen? I love to watch your preparation for the video with Linda Gary. For a good morning, Philomena, who loves a good laugh and gave us our Bon dia alegria motto as well. Good morning, bon dia to you, Philomena. Mike Campion, congrats, Mike. I know a few ex-forces guys that have struggled. It's shameful they're not better looked after. Absolutely, Ian. Here. Penny Albertella, so funny watching Gary. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if you drove past the woods and you saw him doing that? Fantastic. Joe Johnson. Yes, it's officially, I think, Alvagra. If you look on the as you drive into Alvazra, hopefully that it does say, there are different twin town things and newly named Alvagra as well. Glad you're enjoying it, Joe Johnson. So this expat airport thing, Joanne.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Tell me, your place. It's like in Spanish, mi casa, tu casa. Is that right? You're making your fairy garden available to anybody who's newly arrived in Portugal.
Well, I've always been a sort of a park up. Well, people just parked up on the road and came and stayed here. I think I've been responsible for importing so many expats, and then I wander around showing them houses and lands, just for fun. And now I'm here on this piece of land all alone. My ex is living in Algarve with my 12-year-old son. He loves Algarve, but he comes to visit now and again. So I thought, well, I'll just flatten 3 pieces of land, put some gravel on it, build an outside bathroom, and maybe people that want to come and check out Portugal, they can have a home base with me, because my Portuguese, I'll just give you, eu vou dar exemplo. O meu português é completamente nativo. Eu falo assim como as pessoas falam cá. Então, quando eu estou a falar português, eu posso ensinar essa língua para qualquer pessoa. So what I'm trying to say is that If you arrive here, right, what can you got electricity and water and a nice hot shower and a toilet, and you've got somebody who can teach you Portuguese and who can be a translator for any documents or interpreter for any meeting. Even if you've gone off to have dinner somewhere and you're having trouble with the waiter, you can call me up and say, help.
Yes.
What does Britannia mean? Or something like that. Say you come here with your family and you want to go off and have a night out. Well, I can have fun with your kids. I've got thousands of activities to do here with kids or with grown-ups. So I'm really an airport. I have become an airport. People can park up here. I do have some geodesic domes that I'm restoring. So if you don't have a caravan, you can just show up in your car. Bear in mind, we are talking about sort of hippie level, sort of. I'm not a posh quinta, sort of, you know. I accept donations for electricity and water, you know, a minimum donation of €7 per caravan. It's not a big business thing. It's more just to help you all out. And because I'm a ton of fun, I believe so. And because I love helping people get settled here in Portugal. This country needs people that fall in love with the land.
Yes.
You know, plant trees and take care of this place. We've got this problem of all this monoculture of eucalyptus, and I think that the way to end that is just, you know, let's just have everybody buy a hectare of land and turn it into a Garden of Eden, and then, you know, we will be able to take care of this country properly. Because if not, it's just more fires, and then you'll end up with a desert, won't you? So that's no good, is it?
Well said. Well said. That's a really good plan, frankly, and you know, people will get a lot of benefit for themselves and their families living on a hectare of native woodland, and it sounds wonderful. So I've renamed it a careport. It's an airport. But
Yeah,
it's a
careport. I like that. Can I use that? Come to my careport. There's a careport in the fairy garden.
Yes. And you know, there's nothing terminal about it. You don't go to terminal 1, 2, or 3. It's quite the opposite. It's a real lift off at this careport, and I think it's lovely what you're doing, and people get a sense. You know, it's for this sort of adventurous, hippie-ish end of and you know, that's meant in a positive way. It's not 5-star glamping. That's Martin Bell that we're talking about tomorrow. But this will be right up some people's alleyways, won't it? This particular approach and your approach and your lovely nature and style.
If you live within an hour from where I am, just call me up and say, we want to come for the afternoon for activities and fun, and then just leave me a donation. If you live further away, maybe 2 hours or 3 hours, call me up and say, we'd like to do a laughter retreat. Come and spend the weekend here. Come and sleep here, and we'll just fill the weekend with a whole bunch of cool activities. If you're outside of the country and you just want to have that first taste or feeling of Portugal, and you don't want to spend tons of money, or you've sold your house and you don't want to spend your savings while you're looking for a place, live here for 6 months, live here for a year. You can have a piece of land, you can practice gardening. I'll show you what grows here well and how to garden in Portugal, and then use this as your home base, and then start seeing where's your quinta going to be. Because I've seen people that have sold their house, come over here, and they spent a couple of years looking for the place where they want to stay, and they've spent a third or half of the money that they saved up, and then they don't end up getting all they wanted to. I just had a family leave here recently, and they've just found their quinta. Well, it has a barn on it, but it's like 2.5 hectares of land for very little money. I think they spent like 30,000 euros or something like that, which, you know, 30,000 euros for 2.5 hectares of paradise with fruit trees and olive trees next to a river. I mean, where in the world are you going to find this? It's like, this country is just amazing. It's just amazing here, you know.
It is.
And I feel good about that, because I know that they will make it even more beautiful. They're not just going to kind of like flatten it with tarmac and put a tennis court and, you know, a miniature golf and just like, you know, Well, we don't want to make a little England here. We want to just, really celebrate Portugal. Portugal has
Those-
great food, great culture, great everything. We want to
Those
get in.
English people coming over here with their tennis courts and miniature golf courses. Honestly, pack it in, you lot. So, Johnny from Belgium this morning, fantastic. I really feel it in my whole body. My neighbour looks over the fence and run away. That's what you can explain later. That's fantastic. Filomena says, fantástico, João. De facto, fala português como un nativo. So, complimenting you on your excellent Portuguese there. I've not had enough hair to be a hippie for years. I think we should start a bald hippie movement, Stephen. We need to reclaim us follically challenged fellas. I miss where you live, and I would like to meet you, says Jenny. So you're in the Lausanne area, aren't you?
Yeah, and if you just go on Google Maps and put in Escola do Riso, it'll show up, because I do a lot of courses here and retreats. So it's on Google Maps.
Okay,
Escola do Riso.
That's how to spell the town.
Yeah, yep. Call me before. Don't just show up on my doorstep, because I might be in the middle of a artistic moment with thousands of boxes and materials and ribbons and all. You won't be able to see me in all that confusion.
A little bit of notice. It's only polite. So Akinta is like, move Andrew Gilchrist, liking the sound of your prescription for Portugal there. Sign me up for the bald hippie movement, says Stephen. So are you all right for 10 or 15 minutes more? Because we haven't got around to some of these expat challenges and how to deal with them, Joanne. Are you okay for a little bit longer?
I've got all the time in the world, Carl.
Oh, how lovely to hear that. Okay, so this is the article. This lovely lady here writes the blog, sandinmycurls.com, and she looks like she's in the Far East there to me. Let's get rid of these ads on the screen. And this is a very interesting article. Living in a foreign country is difficult and extraordinary and everything in between. Well, I think we can agree on that. There are some big expectations, assumptions, delusions, and WTF was I thinking that go along with it. Yes, we've been through all of those. Here are my top expectations versus the harsh realities that come with expat life. So I won't go into all of these, but it might stimulate a little bit of discussion in the comments, and it might give you something, Joanna, to bounce off. Obviously, with a laughter yoga prescription. So living in a foreign country, everyone will visit. That's interesting. Yeah, you think, okay, I'll move and create a paradise for all my friends and family, and it may or may not happen. Expectation number 2, life in another country. Every day will be an adventure full of exploration. Now, that's sort of tourism and travel, but it's certainly an introspective journey, an adventure, I think, as well. So it might not be full on, 5-star adventures every day. Expectation number 3, living in a different country will be travel all the time. And eventually you do calm down a bit, don't you, after the honeymoon period? And it isn't necessarily that. Number 4, living in another country, being separated from family and friends will get easier. The guilt will subside. Number 5, moving to another country, your world back home will fall apart without you. That's an interesting one. 6 is, can I handle fear of missing out? That's probably of what's going on elsewhere and constantly being stimulated to travel elsewhere, new experiences. Expectation number 7 of moving to a new country, friends are friends forever, right? That's an interesting one. Number 8, living in a country that's not your home. I'm so going to learn a new language so I can really be down with the locals. Yep. Some people will be struggling a bit, of course, with Portuguese, unlike you, Joanne. Number 9, everyone speaks English, so we'll understand each other easily. I mean, English is English, right? No. And number 10, finally, what is it like living in a foreign country? I'm going to be a badass Malaysian cook and learn to make all the best local food. See, this is it. This is all the aspirational stuff, which may or may not happen. Anything in there that you would like to address, Joanne?
Yeah, there is a big danger of getting to this country, creating your circle of expats and never learning a word of Portuguese. I've seen that happen quite a lot. So if you're arriving in this country, get into the local activities. Get into any, you can learn Rancho. They're very happy to have the expats, get into their dance classes or a band, or try and get into some activities that there are no expats in, because that's the only way you're going to be forced. You really need to be like thrown in the deep end so that there's nobody there that can help you out. And you want to get involved with the old folk, people above 60 for learning Portuguese, because anybody under 50 does speak English and they love speaking English. The Portuguese love speaking English. The reason that English is but so widespread is they didn't really have the dosh to translate the movie. So all these people that are my age, 50 and younger, have watched all the movies in English and all the cartoons. Bless the cotton socks. I remember when I arrived, I was like, oh my God, even Noddy's in English. How does a 3-year-old read the subtitles? He doesn't. He just learns English. So that's what happened in this country. And that's another danger for you that will limit your possibility of learning Portuguese. So the elderly, get involved, help them learn from their gardens. Portuguese people are very warm, but they are also very scared. So you need to kind of like break the ice gently. Once they feel you're a good person, then they open their arms as wide as the gateways to heaven. They just need to be reassured that you're not, anybody dangerous in their life. Were you going to say something, Carl?
No, so I just think a very interesting observation, and I think there's definitely a warmth and an understandable and practical boundary. But then once you've done the necessary work to get beyond that boundary, you will make some of the most amazing Portuguese friends.
Yeah, I'm talking about people in villages and stuff like that. I mean, there are people listening to this program that are very metropolitan, and they are not like that at all. They're just like any European. So that if I get some comments there saying now, we're not scared of foreigners, I'm not talking about everybody who's here today. I'm talking about, I mean, I live in a small village, in a hamlet, really, and I'm talking about that. I'm talking about people being a little bit more careful and cautious about who they open their heart up to, and then once they do, no problem there. About Portugal being a constant adventure and the opportunity of travel, the one thing that you will find in Portugal is diversity. Geographic diversity, but also artistic, archaeological, archaeological as well, architectural. And at the moment, I've decided every day to go for a 1-hour walk. Now I've been living on this piece of land for about 17 years, and every day I just found a new amazing spot I'd never seen before. Just taking little path. It's just like
interesting.
It's just. I mean, that is why J.K. Rowling based her books on Portugal, because it's just. You think you've walked down that street 10 times and there's nothing new to discover. And then suddenly you walk by and you wait a minute, Diagon Alley. How come I never found that? It is like that. You're like, how can it be that I never found this arts and crafts shop, local arts and crafts, and it's been here all the time? It's very Pintoresque. It's very diverse. It's constantly changing with the seasons. Like, you're supposed to cut everything by the 15th of May, which I never do because poor bees, they need to have some flowers. If I took you outside right now and showed you what it looks like on my land, it definitely looks like the Garden of Eden. The flowers of all different colors are up around here. It's just like beautiful. I will have to cut it. As soon as they start turning brown, I'll cut it all. And then you have in the summer, everything is sort of like dry and crackly with all the green bushes and green trees. And then when winter comes, when the autumn comes, it's the second spring. You have 2 springs. As soon as end of September sets in, everything goes green and there's butterflies and flowers again. And I'm like, I really enjoy the September, October spring more than the, oh my God, the overwhelming spring where everything just, I have to wade through my garden. It's fun as well. It's fun as well. But then, September through to March, it's like all green grass, looks like an English garden. I'm expecting Colin Firth to come galloping through the fields with his see-through shirt.
Yes, I think you've thought about that possibly a little bit too much.
Well, yes, I've never dated an Englishman in my life, and I'm like, well, maybe I should try that next.
Okay, so any English visitors should arrive by horse with a tight shirt.
With a white shirt, slightly wet.
Slightly damp, with perspiration, and just sort of stop for a moment and say, I I'm lost. Could you help me? Fair maiden. Andrew Gilchrist says, my 3-year-old grandson is learning both languages already. That's great, isn't it?
Oh,
And
great.
and Antonio F says, Andrew, when they are that young, children learn any language easily. I know one child at the age of 5 speaks perfect Portuguese, English, and Mandarin. Amazing. Thomas says, completely agree. We are not cutting everything because of the bees. We've been strategic and cut the most visible stuff and the non-flowering stuff, and then clear the rest of it as it begins to yellow. This is a good process that you two have here. We have so much more diversity as a result. Another great comment from Thomas. Let me spin back to that. It's definitely the case that people see you as a free holiday when you're an expat and you've settled in Portugal. It's lovely to see people, but hard to entertain when you're not actually on holiday yourself. Yeah, every time someone visits. Yeah, and it's pretty expensive, can't it? You're like, oh, you must got to take you here, take you there, and everything. Very interesting. And yes, if they don't follow the fish rule, which is, they should be off in 3 days, that can get difficult as well. Bon dia, Joanna y Carla. Can't wait to come to Portugal, says Jordinja, and find our own little pocket of land to fall in love with. A small native pinhal would be nice. What's that, a little pine forest? Great shout about joining local Portugal groups from Andy. Both our kids did Rancho, the local band. We joined the Keep Fit, local Keep Fit walking groups, and we're welcome with open arms to the community. That's Andy via Austin there. Good to hear from you this morning, Andy. So, yeah, anything we've missed there with the trials and tribulations, the happiness and the harshness of expat life? I mean, you've done this. Are you still in that same place where you were basically starving to death?
Yeah, this was a shed I've renovated. I'm still renovating because, of course, I lost everything in the fire 3 years ago, which is one of the hardships of Portugal. So when you buy a piece of land here with a house on it, starts creating a fire retardant vegetation around the edges and really protect yourself from that. That is something that it can happen. You can lose everything to the fire here. Another hardship that was mentioned that I think we should cover is, missing family that you've left behind. Most of my family's in Spain. I'm lucky it's not too far away. It was a little bit complicated over COVID because my father nearly died and my stepfather nearly died, and I've been having to get special documents to cross over and caretake for those people. All my brothers and sisters live in Madrid, and they have Sundays together, and I'm a little bit left out. It's a little bit.
So what's the solution? Sort of create a new virtual family around you?
Yes, I would say that some of my friends have become like brothers and sisters to me. I have created stronger bonds to people that are not my blood relations because I'm further away from everybody else. I do make a point of seeing them once a year, either in a summer holiday or a Christmas holiday. I try to get there or they come here. And we do a lot of Zoom, lots of WhatsApp group. We're constantly back and forwards with WhatsApp group. One thing that I have been doing to help expats is a Zoom session with them here and their members of the family back in the UK. And we do laughter yoga, and we sort of do a little bit of coming together, bonding, and enjoying each other's company through that. But, you don't need to do laughter yoga. Frankly, my second husband, which I've just separated from, very, very nice separation, really good friends. My first 6 months of relationship with him, he was living in Canada, was through Skype. So the Skype was on all the time. And I've seen a lot of expats do that. They've got kind of like a computer in their kitchen and Skype's on all the time. And they just walk past each other, saying, hello, good morning, how are you doing? Oh, I'm making eggs and bacon for breakfast. What are you making, sort of thing? And they kind of like live like as if you're on the moon, when you're in the moon or your husband's gone to, to an astronaut. No, actually, when your husband's gone to the moon because he's an astronaut. I don't think you do, because not many people have that reality, but they do have that kind of like a screen for a member of the family is on a screen. I did everything on Skype, meals and intimacy time. It was all done like that.
Wow. Okay. And you get a chance to say to your husband, I think you've had those underpants on for 3 days now. They need to be changed. Like that. Yes. Very good. Okay, life on Skype. Yes, when I was courting with Mrs. M, we used to, I can explain what I'm about to say. We used to sleep together on Skype, as in it would be on. We'd drift off to sleep after a long conversation and then wake up and we'd still be connected on Skype. It was very beautiful.
Oh, wow. Well, you know, my recent ex, he's a hypnotherapist. He's also a therapist in many areas. Anybody in Algarve or who wants to do it on Zoom, he's an incredible therapist. Anyways, he did some hypnotherapy and I was on Skype and the connection cut off and he couldn't get through to me, and I'm sitting there like I don't know how long I was there for. And then he started calling me on the telephone, and I'm there and I hear this ring, and then for about 15 minutes, and then finally I'm like, oh,
that's crazy.
Like, have you snapped out of it? Yeah, I was like, yeah, don't do any more hypnotherapy, or maybe you turn me into a chicken or something. I'll be quacking for.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because that's what happened to Gary, back indoors now, but was followed back by a carload of chickens who thought I'd managed to scratch up some grub in the forest. So yes, it was like going at it like a chicken in the forest there. Thomas had never heard of the fish rule. Love it. Yeah, you've got to be off in 3 days if you're a fish or a guest in someone else's house. And yes, I mean, your ex-partner, this like, look into my Skype. Look into my Skype. That's hilarious. Leaving you there. How long were you sat in a chair for?
I mean, it wasn't hours and hours, but I could have been something like half an hour that I was stuck in trance while my phone was ringing and ringing and ringing. It sounds like something from the Matrix.
Yeah, yes, all that Inception movie. Joanna Banana, it's been amazing having your company as a virtual co-host this morning. Thank you so much. What a lovely offer you're giving to people with the Careport.
Whenever you like, Carl, I'm always here for you, and I'm very grateful that you're promoting my services. I did make one mistake. It's not feeding a gremlin after midnight. It's giving a gremlin a drop of water. They can't get wet. That's because when you feed them after midnight, they turn into a nightmare, and I'm not a nightmare.
No, okay, fair enough.
A drop of water.
She's
like
not really...
giving a gremlin a drop of water. I'd like to be your drop of water and help you multiply all the facets that you can be. Ooh.
Or even a drop of Portuguese wine.
That could work as well.
Yeah, this is yoga, folks. Laughter, yoga, and wine. That's an interesting thing. We've got a wine tasting with laughter yoga, but this is the one for tonight. It is the Portugal Reserve. That's a 2016 that we're trying. Well, I've got tonight. Other vintages may be tasted tonight on the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club, and just tonight as well. Before that. We have these folks talking of expat experiences, just arrived in Portugal. We have 2 households from America and 1 from the UK. Talk to them tonight about their experiences of coming over, how they got here, what it's like to be here as a newly arrived honeymooning expat. Not literally, but the honeymoon period of being an expat. Looking forward to that this evening from 7:30. You'll have to book up on that to get the Zoom link via expatsportugal.com, and you can watch our wine club tasting on these very platforms that you're watching on this morning. Joanna Banana, my laughter yoga consultant, a fairy godmother to the Good Morning Portugal community, and a fairy godmother to people who are arriving at the Careport. Thank you so much this morning.
Welcome, everybody, to Portugal. And thank you, Carl, so much. Thank you for inviting me. Enjoyed it. Had a wonderful time.
Absolute pleasure. Take care and bye for now. Ciao, ciao. Folks, it happened to me quite recently with a client, but I was confident her subconscious mind would bring her back at the end of the session. It did. She was there for just 10 minutes and carried on working without me. Amazing. And a final obrigada, Joanne, from your namesake, Gianni in Belgium there. Okay, thanks. You've been amazing, everybody. Don't forget to keep up the laughter yoga that you've learned this morning. Don't be shy. Give it a go. You saw how it was working for many of us this morning. Have a great day. Take care. Maybe see you on a webinar. Maybe see you in the wine tasting. And if not, see you tomorrow for a conversation with Chitra Stern about marvelous Martinhão tomorrow. Take care, folks. Have a great day and bye for now.